Now we need to create a select query. Query is like a question, and MySQL query is a question to the database that looks for the data associated with the user. Okay, and so when we're over here, what we're going to be using is MySQLi underscore query, I believe. Yeah, query. And so, yeah, I have my little cheat sheet over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy the query right here. Right. And what is happening? What is happening is my query gets sent the link just saying that yes, true, I did connect to the database. And then the second argument is the SQL query. Okay, and so let's look at that a little bit more closely. And so typically we look at it, an SQL query looks like this with the new lines in the right place. And so what this SQL query is saying is, okay, select the ID, meaning return the ID and the username from the database, which is cookie underscore clicker, where the username field in the database is equal to $_user, which is equal to post_user, which is what they entered in as their username in the form, in the HTML form. And then it's saying and the password, which is the post pass, which is the password that the user entered in on the field in the form, if that's equal to the password that is found in the database where the username is found in the database. So basically in English what this is saying is if you found the username and password in the database, then return that entry's ID and that entry's username. Okay. And so yeah, so we need to go ahead and put it in like this. The formatting is very tricky. I painstakingly put this all together after a lot of Google searches and knocking my head against the wall. But basically what you need to do is you can state the fields in the database by just stating the fields in the database. But when you're talking about a variable that you're using from your PHP program, you need to put single quotes around them with the variable name inside, right? And so we have select these fields from this database where this field in the database is equal to this variable value and this field is equal to this variable value. And so that's what that does. And so maybe we can run that and we could say echo $result and see what that does. So let's come back over here, go back one, ASDF, hit enter. Ooh, and there's no echo. Oh, because there's no result. Okay, so what MySQL query does is it goes and runs this query, which searches through the database, and this returns an array that contains all of the data that was found from the running of this SQL command, right? And so if you remember, we're over here, right? And these are all the fields that we created in our database, but the database is empty, right? There's no data in it. We do have our fields set up, but we do not have any data in it, okay? So that's why when we run this and we echo out result, it echoes nothing, because running this command returns nothing because there is nothing in the database. So maybe we can try entering data into it, and let's see if we can get that going. So we'll say key name. Ooh, no. Non-unique. Ooh. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to click on content. So here's the structure. We need to go ahead and click on content. And now that we're here, we can add one by hitting this plus sign down here at the bottom, right? So we can, like, normally what we're going to do is we're going to program it so that it checks the database to see if the there is a username and a password, a username in the account with that same username, and if there is not, then we'll go ahead and create the account, right? But we haven't done that yet, so here we're going to just do it ourselves. Okay, and so I'm going to delete this row, and you can see here when I just double click it, the ID automatically populates with 1. Okay, the next one's going to populate with 2, and the next one's going to populate with 3. And why is that? Is because we set it as a primary key, and we also set the filling of the field to be auto. Okay, so that's going to do that for us. And then over here for username, I'm going to type in ASDF. Here for password, type in ASDF. Now, when I run it, this should return that field, right? It should return that row from the database. So let's go ahead and now run it and see what happens. So over here, you ASDF, I run it, and I still get nothing. Okay. Well, the thing is that this result is an array. Okay. And so once we get that array, what you need to do is run this line of code here. MySQL I_fetch_array. Okay. And that's going to put all the data into this variable called R. And so maybe I can echo out $R and see if that changes anything for us here. ASDF. Ooh. Expects one parameter to be a result. Boolean is given. Okay, well, I'm not sure what's happening exactly here, but let me go and figure it out, and I'll fill you in on the next video.